Okay, let's start the water board meeting for Monday, November 9th, 2020. I need a motion to accept the minutes of last meeting.
I'll make it.
Second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Pass. A motion to pay the bills.
I'll make it.
Second.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, passed. Is there anything we got to hit right away? I don't think there's anybody here.
Do we want to talk about the water tank for,
Yes, we'll talk about that first. I was going to ask you right now, actually.
okay?
Yes.
So it's my understanding that they did contribute to 375,000. I don't know, Kevin, do you have any more information on that?
What you heard is the same thing I heard. Matt told me last week that they got $375,000 for the water tank. So that extra $25,000 more. So I think last time we talked it was 350.
Yeah, they had said 350. We had talked and agreed that we were going to ask them to do 375, and they did agree to it. So,
Yeah. So I think we're all good with that. I don't know if it's written down or, but
I haven't seen anything.
yeah, neither have I.
I'd like to see something.
So it
first.
might be a friendly agreement, maybe.
Right. I guess that's something we need to find out for sure, but obviously it's a long lead item to order. We need to get this moved as quick as possible.
Yes.
So I don't know if you want me to start working on it or not, but I'll leave that up to you guys, unless you want to wait to see something in writing before we plunge far forward.
I mean, it's something that we need. So, I don't want to speak for the whole board, but I would say maybe start working on it.
I agree.
Do you want me to put a proposal together for it, or just, how do you want to handle this?
Yes, put a proposal together.
Okay, I will get that to you by next meeting, I guess.
Wow. Okay.
I mean, I'd hate to have. How we gonna? Well, okay, yeah, I'll get it for. I mean, obviously, then we're into December, so
Well, we can approve everything pending too. So if they do give us the money,
right. This is true. Okay.
because I don't know where they're at in the planning board if everything's been approved. with the
No, they're
board.
not. No, because Christian sits right next to me now in their new office. Talking to him about this, and they have not gone through seeker yet at the planning board level. And one of the big lingering issues was how are they dealing with the water? Because it made a big difference into as far as their seeker review. Sitting there or not. So we were able to, so this helps them there, but I know for a fact that they're not very far through, nor have they submitted anything or there's a lot of outstanding issues. Environmental or site impacts, things like that really are not done yet. So
With all that not being done, I'm not even gonna put it towards a motion pending because there's too much.
Yeah.
There's too much. But if when you talk to them, just let them know we are agreeing to it.
okay,
Not
All right.
official.
I'll put a proposal together in the meantime so that when we do see something in writing that we're ready to fly on this. Get this right moving so we can get it into the health department and everybody and have it to bid early next year.
Perfect. Perfect.
Did those letters ever go out, Ken?
What would that be?
The ones for the two services from the One Connection?
Yes, that went out for the Sigma. So he actually filed for a permit and actually called it in to be marked out.
Excellent.
Excellent.
So there is some question in regards to whether or not he could put another water line, not another, well, a connection to that water line going to the back of his building, which is currently a warehouse. So this is why I wanted Brian involved, because this is really more his area than anybody's.
Is it
This
the
is the
same
Delaware
one?
Avenue. Oh, sorry. We're talking about the Delaware Avenue one, correct, Kenny?
Yes, so that would
Okay.
be number 4, and that would be where the existing Sigma building is. So just a little quick review. So he's currently connected to the same line that feeds the physical therapy building, Campiles. And he's going to be disconnected from that one, and he's going to be connected to his own curb stop, which currently exists in his driveway approach at number 4 Delaverne Avenue. He just has some interest in also running the line to the back where his warehouse is.
Okay. So that would be more of a building permit they need.
I know that he put in for the permit, but I don't know if that was on the permit.
Right.
Yeah, that would be Brian's call.
Okay. Kenny, while I have you, that leak detector system,
Yes.
I was gonna pull the money from the money from Frank Riddy. That's where that money was gonna come from. We don't quite have it, but it is something that we're definitely gonna do.
So you're saying the money that you're taking from the tank or receiving from the tank would go to pay for those loggers?
Yes, because that tank is overpressurizing our system, and that's what that's what the extra money was for.
I see what you're saying. All right, so you do realize that when you raise one tank, you have to raise the other tank and make the overflow elevations the same, correct?
Yes,
So
I
it's
do.
not just one tank. We're talking a lot of money, a lot. And then you're gonna have to discuss where to put a reducing valve.
Pressure reducing valve, yes, station.
So I think, as I've been saying all along, I do not agree with the raising of either one of the tanks for a single project that you only have currently one well for. Not happening, in my opinion. It's ridiculous to even think about it at this point with the way you currently exist.
There's also the
One
fire.
well. We only have one well.
And that's what the interconnect project is about.
Yeah, but how long is that gonna take?
Well, the Poughkeepsie interconnect exists and they're negotiating that right now.
Is that gonna run? What's
The-
that interconnect with town of Poughkeepsie going to run us? Who's in negotiations with that?
Well, it was Matt. I don't know who's.
Yeah,
So it falls under you, Kevin.
yes.
So then my question, let's say that is accurate. And depending on how you're gonna use the town's line, why would you want another storage tank? You have all the pressure you want at the town line if you do something with the reducing valve.
If we want to pay for water all the time, yeah, you can do that. But the idea was we didn't pay for water if we didn't have to.
Oh, yeah, no, I definitely get that part. But I'm just saying in general, the way it currently exists, you have no agreement with anyone. And I wasn't even aware that anybody's doing any negotiation. Obviously, Jason wasn't. So what do we have? One individual negotiating with the town?
Well, that's funny because I heard rumor that we were gonna do this again. And I'm not knocking anybody, but we just built almost 14, 15 years ago, a water plant, and now we're going to go back on town water permanently. Is it just when we need it? And why spend the money on the interconnect in the town of Wappingers when we have all the water we need from the town of Poughkeepsie?
The
I'm just-
reason, well, I'm sorry, Mary, go ahead.
I'm sorry, I'm coming in new to this. I met with Matt the other week. He's asked me to step in on these particular negotiations now that he's not going to be involved. So I'm going to try and get up to speed as soon as possible. I know we've been in negotiations with the town of Wappinger. I believe we were approached by Jay Baisley as to whether or not we were interested because they felt they had some surplus water to sell. Whether it's going to be one, both, neither, what the cost is going to be, I think we still have yet to learn.
Who's sitting in on those negotiations other than yourself?
I'm supposed to be getting information on the attorney, but beyond that, I'm not sure. As I said, I met with Matt last week and I'm still trying to get up to speed.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a problem with that. I do believe that the water commissioners, all of us, should be
Mhm.
sitting in on that.
Okay,
Not just Matt. Matt's on his way out, and I get that. Kevin's going to be filling in as deputy mayor, trustee, whatever. I mean, I'm going to be on the water board when Matt's gone. So is
Mhm.
Kevin and Mary and Pat. So I'd just like to know what we're going to be spending with the town of Poughkeepsie.
well, I would not think that, we would enter into any kind of agreement or move forward with anything without the whole water board
Yeah.
being, involved and in agreement. I understand that, sometimes there has to be a point person to, make arrangements in meetings and convey information. But other than that, I don't see my role any broader than that. I think everybody has to be on board with whatever direction we go in.
I'd just like to remind everybody that the Poughkeepsie feeds the west side of the village. If the bridge were to ever go out, the town of Wappingers would feed the east side of the village. Again, if that water line ever went out. So having the two emergency connections on either side of the bridge is very important because you have a single point of connection between the two sides.
Well, regardless if we lose water on one side, like the first ward, we can always, even if we're not in a contract, we could always take the town of Poughkeepsie water. And we're doing all these improvements on the water tanks, but we don't run a water line down West Main Street through Gibbons through the Bleachery to make the loop there. And
Yeah.
they should be making another loop at the end of List Road coming up Route 9. Believe me, I get the water tanks, but if Kenny's saying that we're running on one well, then why?
Well, the interconnect with Wappinger solves the one well problem. We met with the health department.
Mhm.
Dan was very happy that we were as far along as we are. In fact, it's being submitted to them today. They're actually, the packages are going today to go into the health department and the county and EFC for that interconnect project with the town of Wappingers. That solves the one well problem. We need to get the other two wells back online. We've been working on that, but we need the filter plant online to do that because
Yes.
quality isn't quite there. But that solves the one well problem, goes away with the either interconnect. One well is not an issue anymore as far as the health department is concerned. There's redundancy in the system. The pressure is about fire flow. It's not about where the water is coming from. It's about being able to put out a fire at the top of the hill or even serve the top of the hill for that matter, but being able to put a fire out anywhere in the village. 20 PSI is huge.
Oh, I know. Did anybody consider maybe, it still would be an interconnect, is like Jordan Street to the Buckingham property? I mean, they got all the water they need right there and sewer. There's 6 manholes. Instead of running everything the other way, why don't we run it that way? Did anybody consider that?
I brought that up a couple times.
I mean, there's a fire hydrant right there in the corner of Jordan Street, which is, I'm 100% sure, maybe Kenny can correct me if I'm wrong, is town of Poughkeepsie's.
Yes.
So
Yeah,
the line stops
If it-
right there. It's so much shorter of a run.
yeah, yep, and that and sewer, because
Yeah,
you
that
ran
goes
sewer
right to
down that road, you have to run all the way through the village down to the Bleachery and back down Sheep Road again when you're already there on Sheep Road.
Yeah, and that all goes to Tri-Muni anyway. Everything that's on Nelson Avenue and Channingville goes to Tri-Muni. Because there's no sewer pump stations in the town of Poughkeepsie on that end of town because they're all on wells.
Yeah.
And septic too.
Well, as a Tri-Muni engineer, that creates a problem with who's paying for it because the Poughkeepsie pays for theirs. The village pays for, the flow from their residences. That's part of the problem where that property on Delaware we talked about last time, that's sort of in both the village and the town. They're pursuing the town connection first. The village is the last case, and we've kind of asserted that with the town of Poughkeepsie Planning Board, that we really would prefer they figure out the connection that way.
Yeah, well, they should be paying for it. They want to put those buildings up. It should be town water and sewer. Because who's going to pay for maintenance if they come through us and it's all town property?
Exactly. That's pushing for them to do it the other way.
That's a good idea.
And as far as the direction Buckingham is proposing, that was their proposal. They're trying to at least, that they're going to the closest thing to them is what they're trying for.
Right.
Is there a line that runs down that hill across the lake to Tri-Muni right now
From where, Jay?
from Buckingham? Like Jordan, isn't there a sewer line that goes to Tri-Muni now, right there?
I think
That
right by
goes to our
Jordan.
pump station at the end of Market Street?
I think by Jordan it is. There's a line that goes that way. But I understand what John, I think I understand what John's trying to say is that pipe there is going in from the town line. What's there, 2 pipes, John?
I
2
believe
sewer
so.
lines?
Yeah. Because if it goes through Poughkeepsie, then they pay their share of it. If it goes through the village,
We get it all.
each municipality has an allocated share at Tri-Muni.
Uh-huh.
Lending properties then becomes a who's paying for what issue.
Yeah.
I don't want the village to have higher flows because any of the maintenance projects are based on the allocated or the flows where like an approved. We're proposing a big capital improvement project at the plant, and that goes up for the allocations. And when you start blurring the lines of the allocation, I don't want the village ending up picking up any more of the cost than they have already. So,
Don, are the allocations preset? Did everyone buy into a particular
yes.
piece of allocation? And
Yeah.
Are we at our max capacity or are we?
No, you're not. You're not at max yet. You're still.
Okay,
The town is approaching their max mostly because of I&I.
okay,
The village, especially with all the work you guys have done through EFC with the clean water, getting rid of a lot of your I&I, your lows are down.
good.
So you're in good shape, but I don't want to be giving it to the town.
Right. Oh, absolutely.
I'd rather it go to, parcels that are going to benefit the village.
Mhm.
In fact, to the point where I would almost say, like, if that Delaverne property wanted to use the village's sewer, that they should be annexed.
Mhm.
Opposed to an outside user agreement, they should be annexed so that they're paying taxes to the village too.
Absolutely. And that could also pay for maintenance if our guys need to do stuff.
Mhm.
Right. Access, just the ability to get on site.
Thanks, John. That's pretty in-depth.
Absolutely.
Where am I? Jason, the reason why we didn't go through Gibbons Avenue is we'd have to directional drill through rock down through the bleachery the whole
Yeah.
way.
How about Hillside? If we were to come down where the old tank is, I don't know why we don't put a tank up there again, actually, to be honest with you.
Elevation's the same.
Yeah, there is no rock.
No rock where?
Where did you get that there's rock on Gibbons Avenue, Pat?
Because when I was a kid and I used to climb that rock hill right before it, when I come up through the bleachery, it's a solid rock hill. It's dirt around the hillside avenue, but when you come at the end of that street, you go a little bit farther towards the hydroelectric plant, it's solid rock.
Yes, it is on that wall, but there's already an existing path.
If you go down the Greenway path,
Oh, that walkway,
yeah,
sidewalk down.
the workers' walkway and go around the buildings, there is a possibility of doing that.
Yeah, because all that whole bank, that's all bank run in there, going from the bleachery right up to the hillside. I'm
Yes.
sure you could find a spot to run, the water line somewhere in there. I mean,
That workers walkway, that's village property, I'm pretty sure. Somebody has a deed to it that we all know.
Yeah. Harry does.
Scott Davis has it too.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he has some paperwork on that.
It's possible, it's just all negotiations with Fettigan.
Yeah, that'd be great. Make that loop there.
Well, I've only been complaining about it for 14 years, 12 years. I was fire chief for 10 and back in and no progress, not a single movement towards that. It's everything else besides, this road dead end and the dead end right on West Main by the bridge. We shut this side of the village off. They got no water, correct, Kenny?
Yes,
It was looked at for funding. We never got the grant funding. And then Kenny and the guys actually ran the other main all the way through the bridge on the other side of the bleachery. So we're at least that far, or that's brand new.
Yeah.
But we had looked into it. We just never got funding, and we're always looking at something else to fund.
Oh, I hear you. I hear
go
you.
to Fettigan, ask him.
Yeah, let him.
Just the amount of money that he's gonna save on insurance alone with a loop, he'd be
Big time.
crazy not to chip in.
It benefits his property anyhow.
Absolutely, it does.
And he came to me when I was chief and asked, and I'm like, I got no power to do this. But I'm sure he wouldn't mind kicking something in anyhow.
He didn't kick money in last time. So
He probably won't.
Nice.
unless they develop the site, I don't see it happening.
Well, if they try to develop it, then we should make it that they have to give us money to do the project.
Definitely. Definitely. That would end that problem. Kenny, how did you make out on that Berkeley Square overflow? Do they have it solved, what they want to do?
I received a phone call that said that they put an overflow indicator in the overflow pipe.
Okay,
That's supposed to be alarmed to him as the maintenance man and Carol as the property manager. So I actually have not seen it, but I did receive a call to tell us that it was done.
okay, good. Well, we'll find out. If it's a nice mess, we'll know it didn't work. Otherwise, you're gonna have to witness a test.
Only one way to find out, and I'd rather not.
Do you want to call them to witness a test of it?
Yeah, that might not be a bad idea. Yeah, I think we could do that, Pat. I think that's a good idea.
Because that would make sense before winter sets in.
Yep. I'll contact him.
Excellent. I'm assuming water filter means the green sand filter and plant. I don't know. I relied way too much on that, so I don't know where things are at this point. John, do you know?
Yes, the USD application for that was finally submitted last week by Corey. So we've requested the funding. I don't know what we'll get. It did finally get submitted.
Okay, good. How long do they take? A couple months usually?
I'm hoping, been a long time since I filled out one of those applications. It's government at its finest. The high-level government takes forever. So,
Okay, that would be the biggest thing to get done next year, and that's tough to,
yeah. And on top of all the other things we're proposing, that would be a big.
Number one. In my book.
what's that, Kenny?
I just said, it's number one in my book.
Yes,
You would be less relying on other municipalities if you have the ability to use that other well. And you could even, build the motor larger and the pump larger and get more water out of it at that point. Then you
well,
don't need anybody else's water.
I agree. It's in the hands of the state right now. The main thing is we get it built next year. That would solve a lot of problems.
Sooner the better.
But it's the USDA though, so.
Yeah.
At the federal level, not the local.
Oh, that's the federal, oh, shoot, I didn't write that.
Yeah, that's the federal one. We've also applied for EFC funding on it, but we didn't make the cut this year, so we'll keep pushing it.
All right, that's gonna be months. Lovely. Okay, that is new feed. John, do we have anything else going on that Kevin, do you have all of Matt's notes from everything he was up to as far as negotiations and?
No, I don't have any of that stuff yet.
Do you want me to meet with you at your office or sometime with Matt and go over everything?
Yeah, we can do that.
All right, just let me know. It's anytime after 4 o'clock.
Anytime after 4 o'clock. All right, I'll get a hold of Matt and we'll set something up.
Because I don't want to miss anything. He was taking care of most of the negotiations and what do you call it? The money part. I don't want to see where we're at.
Definitely. I mean, I know he did mention, like Mary said, he was going to work out something with Jay Baisley from the town of Poughkeepsie.
Right.
And I don't know the plan. This is my only opinion. I don't know the plan from the town of Wappenders, what the price is on that or how will we pay for that, but I don't know. So
When Matt and I sat down, it was to talk about a couple of these things and how we proceed and just essentially who needed to be involved. But beyond that, I've just, made notes for myself that if I'm going to be any kind of, contact person for any of this, I would love to have all the notes and files and all the background material to work through.
maybe we get the whole board there. I mean,
Yes.
including Jason. I mean, no sense leaving him out. We get the whole board. We'll set something up with Matt and he can sit in the office.
I agree. Mary, we're actually dumping a lot on you. You got to let us know if it's too much.
Oh, I will.
Don't be shy about it. Because
All right, thanks. I will let you know.
I realize this is more of your expertise than mine.
Well, parts of it I've been doing for a while. Other parts are brand new to me. So I'm relying on all of you to get me up to speed and hold my hand and help me get there with you.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Because I wanted to go over the budget with you guys anyway, and Matt, because I want to see if we can start the leak detector a little bit earlier to make sure everything's done before any of this stuff comes online.
Mm-hmm.
And then we can see how well it's working before the problems start.
Yeah.
All right, so that, Kevin, whenever you schedule it, I don't know what everyone else's schedule's like. Anytime after 4 is fine with me. I'll make room.
All right. I'll get a hold of Matt then and I'll
Does
get
a weekend work? Does a weekend work? Because he's
A
working
week-
5 days a week now.
Right.
And he's gonna, what's he get out at 4?
something like that, I think.
Yeah, it's probably gonna take him a good 45 minutes to an hour. to
Saturday
get home.
morning or something.
Whatever works.
Yeah. Mid-morning on a Saturday would work.
Yeah, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock. Yeah, it's fine.
All right. All right. I'll give him out a shout and I'll get back to you.
Okay, it's fine. That was the most outstanding thing I had to talk about. I want to make sure we're not missing any loose ends and we don't let anything drop because
Yeah, definitely. Made it this far.
how are you going to be able to handle all this? You're just doing it part-time. He was doing it full-time.
I guess
He's
I would
got me.
rely on Mary.
You got me.
Jason.
I'm running for mayor.
Okay, well, that's the bulk of what I had. I just gotta talk to Kenny and John about anything for winterization they really need. I can't hear you, John.
No, I don't think there's anything specific. We just got to make sure that we can get the salt delivered on time. You know, previously we've had some issues with that, with deliveries, especially in the winter. Obviously, they're delivering salt for road purposes. So as long as we keep on that, I think for winter wise, we should be, you know, pretty fair. Not that I can think of.
We'll let you know if we need anything.
Yeah.
Okay, when Baisley came around, it said cut the lawn. Did that mean chop up the weeds in the back of the fence?
No.
No. Does that need to be done?
Well, I mean, it's a little sloppy.
It's gonna die in 2 months anyway. so
Yeah,
I'll
I
say
mean,
no,
you're heading towards the winter. We might be able to stall it if money's an issue.
Okay,
They
What
did do-
did Paisley come in and do stuff?
Well,
You
we
did
had
everything.
our machine being worked on. We cut our own grass in water. So our riding machine was being worked on at Adams and we were getting a health department inspection. And so we wanted the grass to be all cut. And so we reached out to Baisley and he took care of us.
What that cost?
Honestly,
I don't think
he
he
told me
charged
he
us.
was doing it for nothing.
They oughta.
Yeah.
One
There's
time,
$60,000 in extras already this year.
for the one time.
Yeah, just
I mean, the
go.
village gives them a lot of work, so.
You ain't kidding.
Previously, though, they did do this underneath the solar panels.
Yes,
yes.
So that might be what you're looking at.
All the tree work for that.
That's like-
Thank you. Mr., is it Mayor or what am I going to call you?
Just Kevin.
Trustee.
Just Kevin.
So Kevin, do you have anything else to add other than we're going to schedule that meeting and try to figure out where we're standing?
Nope, I don't have nothing to add. I think I'm good. Just when we have to set the O&M meeting, right? Correct?
I got to talk to John first anyway.
Yeah.
Because he's got most of the extra stuff. John, am I missing anything?
I think we covered pretty much everything. I mean, the list was fairly complete. I mean, we're still, what's happening with those water connections for what's the road? The ones where it was going in the backyards.
Right.
Right.
Nothing's happening
Is
there.
there?
yeah.
So, and then that's really it. I don't think Podgy Terrace really comes into play yet. I don't know what's on there. So that's pretty much everything. It's just the OM meeting and the regular meeting.
Okay.
The O&M meeting is on the 7th, right? Typically.
Patrick, if it's okay, I'd just like to interrupt.
Of course.
So in regards to the Prospect Street, the last time, if you remember correctly, Matt was in conference with the owner of
Mhm.
on Nazir at the corner of Prospect. The owner that did not have any interest in doing what the plan was. And so he was supposed to set something up for us and whatever, he must have got busy and didn't do it. But he has no interest in that at all. So, you know, it kind of puts a crimp in things.
At the moment.
Well, that's one of the things we were gonna go over with him on Saturday, because he was handling all this. I don't know what he actually ended up as.
Well, we don't have the issue meeting with the homeowner. That's what he was supposed to do. At
Mhm.
the last time was to communicate to that owner that we would be glad to meet with him and go over exactly what it was that the village wanted to do and see if we could get him to bite on anything at that point. You know, otherwise, you have two options, the way I see it is
Mhm.
make new taps, you leave them in the front of people's houses and you go, come and get them.
That is,
Or you do what I said right from the beginning is, we don't own it, it's on private property, we have a curb stop, something happens, you shut it off, you're on your own.
and that's what we're gonna talk about when we meet with Saturday. And we're probably gonna end up like that on, not what I wanted, but that's probably where we're gonna end up at.
Yeah.
Another thing about that owner is I don't think that owner realizes that he himself is going to have to be one of those that has to dig. I think he thinks that he's safe and maybe not screw everybody else, but he doesn't care. But even he himself is going to now have to do a new tap and a new line into his house.
Right.
That it's important that all these people that are making these decisions know all of the factors. Right? I think he's saying screw everybody else, not realizing that even he.
And they're not realizing that the water part's cheap. It's the sewer that's gonna be expensive.
Yes.
Okay, when we meet with Matt, we'll discuss it. I'm trying to write all the notes right now, Kevin, make sure I don't miss anything. So, everybody else just write things down, because I don't want to forget anything when we meet with them. We can get the whole thing done and finished.
Well, that's a main concern in that property there also.
Yes, it's one of our loose ends. Just want to get rid of.
Yeah. We'll be talking a few months now about it.
Oh, it's a couple years actually.
But really, for a few months, we've really been talking. But
Yeah. Okay, John, the O&M meeting, you want it on the 7th?
Yeah, the regular meeting is the 7th.
Mm-hmm.
So then the regular meeting's on the 7th, so the O&M typically is the Tuesday or Thursday ahead, and we didn't have one this past month. It managed to happen, so it's either going to be the 1st or the 3rd. Would be the O&M.
how about the 3rd? I mean,
3rd?
Will
Okay.
one have them?
2:30?
2:30 O&M?
Is it off? Do we still need to have them?
It's up to you, Ken. It's really, the meetings are about you and I talking, so.
It's up to you, Kenny. What do you think?
Well, we've been discussing it for a while, and I know Matt was always in favor of it. It's really honestly more up to you guys if you, for your information, and you guys can attend. It doesn't make any sense to have it if the board members can't attend. Because we end up talking about the same thing at the meeting anyway.
Right.
Yeah.
But don't have
Let's just
one.
do,
So if the board members can attend, you know, I'm all for it. And if they can't, to me, you know, just wait until the meeting.
you want to wait to a meeting, guys?
I would. I mean, it is kind of a waste.
All
Yeah,
right.
it was, the intent was with Matt, yeah, we had talked about this, was that they could work some things out prior to the taking all the time at this regular meeting, if there was something we needed to talk about. We do need to, I'd like to sit down with you at some point, Ken, to go over the interconnect drawings.
Sure.
Said they're going to the health department today. I think I just want to sit down with you, but now that I've got the last few changes pulled together. I added the valves on the outside of the vault like you asked,
Okay.
either hydrant. But I still want to get a list of pieces like the equipment and the valve lists
Okay.
compiled that we can then make sure that anybody looking for a connection knows what they need.
Okay. Yeah, we could do that. Sure. Anytime, John.
But that doesn't have to be at an O and M. I can just come down someday.
Yeah, whatever, that's fine. You know, we'll take a look at your schedule, see what you got available and get a hold of me and we'll work out the details.
All right, sounds good.
So Kevin and Kenny, it's your consensus. I can never make these meetings anyway, the OEM. Do you want to postpone them until we start the filtration?
Yeah, I would.
Yeah, I think that's fine. You know, like I said, we discussed most of the things in the meetings anyway. And, you know, to me, that's the whole purpose of having a board, so that everyone knows exactly what's going on and has the ability to contribute on whatever their thoughts are.
Okay, very good. So we won't worry about them until the green sand filter plant gets going, just so we keep an update when she's going. Okay.
Sounds good.
Does anybody have anything else to add or problems?
I do, Pat, just a couple more things. So just so everyone knows, we did have a inspection, and you should be seeing that report at some point in the future. So we got that done, and then in regards to the flushing, the system flushing, we're all done with that.
Oh, excellent. When I meet with Matt, what's wrong, John?
I was gonna say, the PFOAs came in very low, so
Oh, excellent.
that testing, those results were really good.
So John just reminded me that Lane will be coming to work on well 7A. The proposed date at this point is in the beginning of December, the first week. So they'll be working on 7A, and at the time that they're here, they'll do the flow tests on the other wells, or even if you wanted to even do number 3. If I think that's really more of a call for John, the engineer, in regards to whether he thinks it's absolutely necessary to do a flow test on a well that we're not even going to be using. I remember from the last report, the flow was down quite a bit. But if we're not using the well, do we really need to do the test on it?
If you don't plan on trying to redevelop it, no, there's no point.
A few $100.
Okay, I'll let them know, so then at that point, they'd only do the test on 7, and they're gonna be redoing 7A anyway. So I will also ask them about it in regards to the well itself, like if you don't do the flow test and you leave it be, you know, is there any kind of issue with that, or see what their recommendation would be. And then we'll go from there.
Okay, very good.
I agree. I didn't see why we would do it either.
Yeah.
I think it's
Does anybody have anything else to add?
No.
Okay.
Hey, Kenny,
Anita?
you do,
Patrick, before you stop, did you want to discuss Rettle? Is 7E on the agenda? I don't know if there had to be a discussion about that or not, but apparently he must be requesting water again.
Yeah, I got no information at all.
Okay. Well, I don't know if you remember, Patrick, but, you know, Mr. Rettle had interest in getting water over by Foam Central in that area.
Mhm.
You know, he's got that land over there that he's been asking the village for water for years and years and years. The only thing that you could consider, once you either get the other well up and running, or you have the interconnection and you have interest in selling water, at that point, you can make him put the pipe in, basically in front of Rite Aid. We have a water main that crosses the street there. And this way, if there was any interest, I don't think you should do it, but if there was, if he puts the water main in, you're closer to Woodhill Green at that point.
Okay, I see what you're saying. I don't know where Matt left off, and I don't want to.
All right, well, bring that, jot that in your notes for discussion. It is on what Marie gave to me in regards to an agenda. So he must have approached, I guess, Matt, if no one else knows about it. And, from
Red. We have an email from Redo that went to, I believe, Matt, and I believe Matt gave it to Wallace. I don't know what he's doing. But it must not be that important if it didn't make your agenda. So we didn't.
All right, well,
Ask Matt on Saturday.
have the conversation with him and, see what his thoughts are.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Kevin. Okay. What do we got? That's it. I need a motion to adjourn.
Hold on, Kenny. You do know we used a fire hydrant on November 7th for the Colonial Brookside fire. Did you guys get a peek or a drop in?
No, I wasn't even aware of it, Jason.
Yeah, I meant to call you that night, but it was like 2:00 in the morning. And we used the one on the corner of North Remsen and Veterans by
I bet you that
Rodam's house.
was it an actual fire?
Yeah, it was like a 15 by 30 area of junk.
Wow. So you only had to use that one hydrant?
Yeah, we used tank water and then we just had hooked up. We didn't flow much, but I didn't know if you guys would have seen the peak or not.
Yeah, we not that anything we noticed.
All right.
We had to run out this morning, so didn't really get a good look at the tanks, honestly, today. So, but I'll look tomorrow, but no, nothing that we, got noted.
Right.
A drop, we have an alarm that when pressure in the windlass tank gets so low, it sends out an alarm to us as a low level. So I definitely know we didn't get that.
All right, perfect. That's all I had.
Yep.
No, but Jason, that's, and Kevin, both being firemen, it's excellent that you did tell us.
Yeah, I meant to call you, and then I meant to call you the next day, and I just spaced it out.
I appreciate.
Well,
you
it's
telling us
good
and
because we can check the hydrant anyway.
Please continue to do so.
It was clean water, I'll tell you that, when we opened it to flush it.
Yeah, we just got done flushing, so
We just wanna
I'm
make
glad
sure
to
it
hear
drains.
that.
That's perfect. Okay, so I need a motion to adjourn.
I'll make it.
Second,
I'll make it.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. I look forward to seeing you guys whenever we can get a meeting, and we'll iron all this out. And I have a bunch of other questions, how to proceed with the meetings, because I don't know the state laws, and we'll go from there.
All right. I texted Matt, so I'll get back to you when I hear from him.
All right. Thank you.
All right, Pat.
All right.
Hey, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
And
Take
then,
care.
John, can I have a minute with you guys before you sign off?
Yep,
Sure.
no problem.
I just want to see if I can arrange a tour of the water plant.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Anytime you want.
Okay, what's the best way to reach out to you to do that?
You could call the plant number or give me a call on my cell number, whatever is better for you. Yeah,
If
okay.
you give me one, I'll make sure I use it.
So I'm gonna give you the water plant number,
Okay,
297
yep,
3787.
great. I'll give you a call tomorrow and see what works for you.
Sure, no problem.
Great, thank you.
We'll take you through anytime.
Okay, guys, good night. Enjoy the
All
weather.
right, good
Good
night.
Take it easy.
Very well.